I'm feeling lucky, punk. We're gonna try to go 450 areas here in the time we got left. We're at least gonna start it. Saddle bags of pizza. If the opening's big enough, that's the problem. Is I'm not sure if it is. My mom goes here. Fritz. Is that everybody? Nope, we got one more. Oh, Charlie. So, okay. Pop this time. Well, we don't need to actually build out a formation. We just back 1, 2, going like this. Something like maybe. Yes, maybe. Dritz would be the focused thing here. Yeah, something like that. We got the Spurt chest. Spurt's super far away from a pity timer, so yeah, he's not getting any. He's not going to be the target of any packs that I buy. I may just let it. I might let the game buy him randomly. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have like a small pack, and it could be personal pan pizzas, endless, bottomless pack of personal pan pizzas. Yeah. How does Strix debuff enemies based on the smell? So if they get close enough to her to smell her, they get a debuff, and it looks like a little like whiff of like a green like plume above them, like they can smell what Strix is cooking. And you can, if there's more like a C team, Inc., C team, or Waffle Crew members in the party, the smell range extends, so you can actually extend it to the full screen. But they usually have to get somewhat base. They have to get like right within about here, middle of the screen, to get affected by the debuff. Well, it's not about like how far I can push. It's about how quickly I can get there. I'm trying to clear 450 right now, and we got an hour and 20 minutes left on the stream. I don't know. Hi, Kel. Thanks for hanging out. Testing out Sorrel's resolve. You want to see if you can click Valendra to interrupt her? Yeah, I mean, let me know. You got to figure out what her attack animation is, and then you got to interrupt it. They're on 300,000 tokens. Oh, for the event. I mean, like on my main account, I just always put them all into the new champion. I burn all of my bounty contracts between like every event, and then I put all the tokens into the newest champion to get them up to compete with everything else, everybody else. On this account, I was holding on them to try to get like get equal epics on everyone, but then they all ended up with 4 blues and 2 purples, and now I'm like, what do I do? And I'm not sure. I'll probably look at like item levels, maybe. The debuffs from 2 champions on an enemy stack. Yes, of course. Otherwise, you would only ever want 1 debuff. Right? So, your Gale is 350. Well, that's nice. I mean, check your other champions. Are they 350? Are they higher, lower? Like shooting for a floor, an average item level floor, like the minimum amount of power a champion has is what I do. And my floor is usually 200, but I want to raise it to 250 so that it equals the cap on a shiny ultimate cooldown item. Well, 251 technically. I just haven't gone through and tried to do that yet. But so I think I'm hitting that or higher on all my newest champions. Went a little wild on Caddy. I mean, fair. She's worth it. She's great. That crit chance. I mean, she has an item to boost her crit chance. That alone is like, woo! 650. I think she's somewhere between 700 and 1,000 for me, maybe on my main account, because she was in a season and got a lot of item levels from that. I am personally a big fan of Caddy Breeze, so I'm always gonna push Caddy Breeze. She's the crit queen. Let's see. Could probably burn more of these silver chests. Kind of was holding them onto them for Azaka, but like I don't know how many we're gonna need. We haven't gotten our time gate piece drop yet. We have plenty of patron currency for Monday. Did I buy? Ooh, that would have been bad. Would have been real bad. I did buy my time. Yes, okay. Just making sure. Sometimes I am forgetful. Floor is 401. You can make it 404 and just say, I can never find my floor. I don't know what it is. I keep looking for it, but I keep getting error 404, floor not found. Rack is 200. Spurt is 500. Wow, yeah. Well, Spurt's a black hole. He'll take everything you give him. Totally Gale's 300. It sounds like you need to up Narak a bit then. Tuesday I'll probably figure out where I'm going to put these tokens so that we do it before the event ends. Yeah, but Nathless, if they ever fix it, you're going to want the item levels, right? But like even champions that I don't use, I still raise their item level floor. So the dismantle Penelope, then no, dismantle is and really dismantle. Just ignore it. Just ignore it. As a newer player, it is not something you need to worry about. There's like one use case scenario, and that's like if you have Briv or Humon, and well, I bought chess for her, so I don't. Isn't it already inactive? Isn't her dismantle over? I don't know. But in the case of a dismantle, like if you had Briv or Humon and a lot of item levels went onto that champion, you could pull them off and then dump them onto Briv or Humon. But as if you just picked her up and just got a few from the event, I don't think it's worth it. I'd rather have a functional champion. Functional champion greater than just a little bit faster for a brand new player than a champion that's a little bit faster. Why have you forsaken Penelope, Lydia? What is going on? Penelope is amazing. Hmm. Dismantle. Yeah, you're not a new player, but still. Still. Penelope asked, would you be my friend? And you went, I'll take all your stuff. And she cried. And she cried. Well, early game versus early game. I should just say early game. If you're in the early game, there's no reason really to dismantle. Outside of that one thing, but early game, you're not getting a lot of item levels off a dismantle. 7 dead, yeah. Yeah, that's what Desmond does is dead and or escorts. Desmond's your buffer. I would argue early game players don't necessarily like worrying about moving shinies and stuff is. I don't know. Desmond a mop? I don't know. You'd have to check my guide. It's in the blacksmithing contracts guide. Yes. Yes. It's slot 5. Slot 5 mops. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. Interesting. Yeah, you can click too many times, the Amplifier Forge. Clicking will only stun an enemy a certain number of times. So it may be one of those things that you would want to. Like, I can't remember how many times you can click before they become immune to it, basically. Um, you'd want to figure that out, and you'd want to click towards the end of the Valindra Shadow Mail, not the start. Let her do her low damage stuff, soak that up, and then when it's getting to the end of it, then you'd want to interrupt the big ones at the end. Yeah. Because it doesn't treat each of her resurrections as a new click target. It doesn't treat it as a new target, period. It doesn't remove her and replace her. It treats her as the same thing the whole time. $275,000 blacksmithing contracts? Or item levels worth of blacksmithing contracts? I'm guessing what that means. That's just wild. I've got 0. I don't know what I have on my other one. The legendary blacksmithing contract. Correct. Where do you get those? You don't. I'll repeat this when we get back from the break. Around 14 or 15 clicks. Okay. I was thinking somewhere around 10, but yeah. Oh, you're back? Okay. Well, give me 30 seconds to let everybody else get back, and then I'll answer that question that I already answered. When you couldn't hear me. When you couldn't hear me. I got my Codename Rainbow shirt on today. Codename Entertainment. I like this one. This one and the Rainbow Irish shirt. I really like those. Just add some color to their logo. I just feel like their logo should just be this. It should just be that all the time. All right, I think everybody's back now. Legendary blacksmithing contracts. You don't get them out of chests. What happens is they are a potential thing you can get, but it comes from say you had a Briv and you didn't have a shiny or a gold or anything. Well, no, this doesn't work with Briv. Say you had a Human and you didn't have a shiny or golden, but you capped his item levels on this item. And then you got a golden potion and decided, oh, I'm going to put it on Human's rocks. Or shiny, it's egg. They're eggs at the top version, but I'm going to put it on the eggs. And then that lowers the item level cap. And then it refunds you blacksmithing contracts back. And what it will do is a legendary is 125 levels. So if you went over 125 levels, you get it back. It'll happen on shiny. If you shiny an alt cooldown on somebody, it's normally 501, but shiny it brings it down to 251. You'd get like 2 legendaries back. 2 because they're each is 125. So you see it often. You see it often when a natural shiny lands on like a core or evergreen champion and dumps you back 250 item levels. It just gives you 2 legendary contracts. But they don't come out of chests or anything. They specifically created them because the refund system for going over a cap was creating just so many of the epics that they were like, we need a bigger one, and they made that one. They made that one. Not huge. Is it huge? Well, there's white, common. There's green, uncommon. There's blue, rare. There's purple, epic, and there's the orange, legendary. There's 5 different rarities. What they're called in terms of size, I don't care about. Tiny, small, medium, large, huge, whatever. They're a legendary. They're a legendary because of the border is orange. That's the legendary border. Medium and large, not rare. They're rare. The colors determine their rarity. I'm talking about rarities. That is the naming scheme. Tiny is white, but white means common. White is a common rarity. Green is an uncommon rarity. Blue is rare. Purple is epic, and orange is legendary. These are the names of those colors. That's the name that the color represents. They'll change the name of the item however they want. Like here, small, medium, rare, or large, huge, right? But if you look at it under a small push of clairvoyance, it says common, and then it says uncommon, and then it says rare, and then it says epic. And when it has an orange border, it's legendary. All of these names are the same thing. They apply. They're just different terms that tell you the same thing. But one is a name of an item, one is a size reference, and one is the rarity reference. So what does the color actually mean? The name of the rarity that the color represents. Why, when you forge an item in the legendary forge, that you add a legendary effect to that item. It gets an orange border because they're, even though the rarity didn't become legendary, that's the way they're denoting there's a legendary effect. Well, this is in-game info, Lurking Rider. This is in-game info. It's literally in the game if you hover over the item. Well, this huge is a potion and not a contract. I don't have any of the contracts that we're talking about. Not on this account. I do on my main. I'll pull it up and just to double check, but up here. It's got to load. Connecting to server. Loading user account. Starting game. Calculating offline progress. Starting. Completing. And we're in. Yeah. It says, so contracts go tiny, small, medium, large, and huge. But right under those names, tiny blacksmithing contracts through huge blacksmithing contracts, are the rarity levels. And the orange one, that's called a huge blacksmithing contract, is legendary. It says legendary in orange underneath it. Screenshot for proof. Screenshot for proof. So these are the in-game terms. These are 100% the in-game terms. So, Jarathon has question. DPS hits an enemy for 100. Cool. Enemy gets 900% incoming damage debuff. So a 10x, yes. DPS hits the enemy for 1,000. Well, that's what would have happened if the DPS was doing 100 damage. It would have hit it for 1,000. Like the damage that went through would have been 1,000. DPS now hits an enemy for 1,000. Enemy gets another 10x damage debuff from a second champ. Okay. Does the DPS now hit the enemy for 2,000? No. It's a separate thing. Remember, all separate things, they aren't additive together. They're multiplicative together. So you would have had. So if the base damage of the enemy is 100, and it gets two different 10x debuffs, it's getting the effectively 100x debuff. So you'd be doing a 10,000 damage off of 100. That's you've got a lot of yeah. It's the 10,000. It's 100 to 10,000. This is why uh, click debuff was so successful first and still is if you like having single digit frames per second. This is one of the things that makes Bugs Buggy, excuse me, ridiculous. Multiple debuffs starts doing wild things to damage, slows your computer down a lot, or your whatever your system is on a lot, and because it's trying to calculate all of these things in order and get all the damage right. And if there's AOE's, it's got to do that. And well, the potions and the top tier of each are huge. The biggest potions you can get is huge. You can't get a legendary potion. You can get it's just epic. It's this. It's also an epic. 7-day potions. These arguably should have been legendary potions. Arguably. Because there is no fifth size of a potion. But there is a fifth size to a contract. And the way it comes out is because tinies never existed. So before, honestly, it was green, blue, and purple for the longest time. Tinies came when Electrums showed up. And then they added the legendary version later. Yeah. I don't know why they did it. I don't know why they changed their names. I don't know why contracts were large when they were epic, when potions were huge. It just is. But yeah. Welcome to Codename Entertainment. CNE, consistency not expected. Lurking Rider, you're wrong. I just nowhere does the huge blacksmithing contract say that it's a legendary contract. But you're wrong. I picture it. Just a couple posts down. Picture. Um, yeah. It's fine if you want to use the name rather than the rarity. I'm just what we were referring to was my guide, and in my guide, I talk about the rarities of things. Again, it's you don't ever really run into those a lot anyway. So, oh yeah, chrome ops. Small, medium, rare, well done. I like mine medium well though. Um, Massive, yeah. I mean, well, no, there is a bigger potion. Hold on. It's not. It's not what I wanted. Dang it. Dang it, Bobby. There's like so like healing. There's healing, greater healing, superior, and supreme. But that's common, uncommon, rare, very rare. That doesn't even get to legendary. Supreme is ridiculous. I don't even think I knew about Supreme until Critical Role recently. Let's see if there's... No, there aren't sizes for that. Yeah, most potions only come in one size in D&D, except for healing, I feel like. Yeah. Oh, wait, no. Giant Strength. Giant Strength goes uncommon through legendary. Hill Giant is uncommon. Frost, Stone, and Fire are all rare. Cloud Giant is very rare, and Storm Giant is legendary. There's a couple. But yeah, for video game purposes, they had to, come up with something that made sense, and that's what they went with. Avon is a mop. Why do people say Nova is better? Most likely because I would say because most people are I'm gonna extrapolate here, and I might be wrong. Most people are trying to look for a champion to go with Artemis, and Avon and Nova is better than Avon when it comes to Artemis. Avon only mops to 4 stacks. First off, but well, yeah, he only mops to 4 stacks. Nova has some interesting scaling, but Nova is only good in specific formations. Nova does need gear. What are you talking about? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, technically, Avon as a mop ability, Avon doesn't need gear either, but I don't know why Nova wouldn't need gear. So again, it's always one of those it depends. Why do they say one's better? It depends. It depends. They're terming out for champions that ideally should be in from the start of the run. I call them ramping champions. I've done a tutorial show about that before. They're trying to move away from that kind of champion now, but unfortunately they haven't. I don't think Evelyn works that way. Myria doesn't work that way. Belushi does. Belushi does. Freely does. Who else? They've shortened the list. Belushi ramps still based off the number of bosses she was alive for. Freely ramps based off the number of areas that were completed while he was in the formation. Eliwick ramps, yes, Eliwick ramps based off currently based off they'll currently ramp because I feel like if they ever get touched by a rework, that's going to go away. Eliwick ramps based off the card draws. Yeah. I call them ramping champions because I don't like to call them stacking champions because stacking champions tends to get confused with permanent stacks. Black Viper can ramp. Yeah, absolutely. Black Viper still ramps based off the red gems you pick up on a run. I'm liking the click Flayer thing. I might be able to do this with low bench count. Yeah, now I want to try it on this next time we hit there. I want to see. Let's see what can happen. Woodchucker, let's not. No spoilers. There are people who might be behind on episodes. I just said that I saw it on a Critical Role thing, not where or why. Oh, I know. Inventory, look, inventory organization is garbage and always has been. But I would argue it doesn't even need to be. Everybody wants new inventory management updates, and I'm like, I don't even look at it. And after all the times that I know where everything is at this point, like I know how messed up it is and where things fall. But yeah. It's the best use for corrupted gems on a new account. Holding on to them unless not the chests, absolutely not the chests. You can either buy support pigments to use on event champions, not on your core and evergreens with epics. No, these are permanent power boosts that you're not really going to be. They may or may not let you pull off later. Currently, they don't. You want to use them on event champions that you're going to have that you're going to keep for a long time. That's the best use. Is the support pigments. Now, if you have Dynahair, getting that golden epic is worth it for 20,000 corrupted gems. If you're going to run tadpole parties, maybe getting the feats might be worth it. If you have the champions that the feats go on. But yeah, usually support pigments are the best overall. You can't really go wrong picking up a support pigment. Unfortunately, you can go wrong with its placement, which is, like I said, that's unfortunate. Yeah, in my opinion, the gem collector, the one that gets you more gems for Black Viper, is her best spec. Why wouldn't you want to scale off those gems? But I don't know. I'm not a Black Viper main, so I could be wrong. Why does BBG enter random variants when he technically shouldn't be allowed to? Because he has a rule that says he can go anywhere. Any of the awful ones could go. So whether they're, and that means whether you're using them or not, whether you own them or not, he can go there. He can go there because he's their big bad evil guy. So he can go anywhere they can go to harass them. I have Omen and Penelope in my formation from the start to get their gold farm to ramp from the start. That's fine, but it's not required. You could technically pause later and stack them. When I'm talking about a ramping champion, I'm talking about somebody that needs to be in at the beginning because their mechanic literally tells you it's going to do stuff based off your progress as opposed to just over time. Anything that's over time, you can, like, based off attacks and stuff, you can always do that later. Yeah, all I will say about Critical Role is the last 2 weekends have made me watch all the way to the end, which is why Fridays have been either me yawning or showing up late like I did yesterday. Yeah, I don't need an inventory update. I want the alchemy system first. I thought that Thalo, I thought with the recent change to Evelyn that she didn't do that anymore, but I'll check again. I thought it was based off the recent change. I thought it was based off something else. It didn't require her to be in the whole time. Hold on. Yeah, just champions can contribute grace stacks for every 400 areas completed in the current adventure. It doesn't say Evelyn had to be in for those. You can put her in later, and it still gives her the. And she just looks at how many areas you've been. Yeah. The only one that she has is like highest number of enemies tanked in the current area. But again, current area. So yeah, Evelyn doesn't have to be in at the beginning. And that's the example of a design that's better for like ramping champions. What used to be ramping champions. Like they need a change like that. Well, I never really care about my inventory. That's the thing. This isn't an RPG or an MMO. The appearance of my inventory means nothing to me. Where I activate things matters. So I activate potions from here. I activate chests from over here. So the only thing I really care, I think that you could pull all the potions out of here. You could you could get rid of chests. You could get rid of gems. You could get rid of time gate pieces. You could get rid of currency for the event, and you could get rid of corrupted gems and any vials, because this isn't where you use them. They don't even need to be shown here. You get rid of all these potions that exist up here in the potion manager. They could go away, which means you'd be left with potions of specialization, potions of polish, golden potions. Scrolls you can use in trials. They don't have to be listed here either. You'd need pigments, right? You'd need bounty contracts and blacksmithing contracts. There, I just cleaned up the inventory. Like, so that's why I don't understand why that isn't just what happens, because it feels like that would get rid of everything and everything would be so much nicer. Okay, I just realized what's going to slow us down is these are armored mind flayers, not hit based. So they actually have to be hit by a large amount of damage. These armored mind flayers are worse than armored bosses because they have similar levels of health, but a boss is divided into 50 armored segments. So health divided by 50. Whereas these mind flayers are divided into like 5 armored segments. So health divided by 5. They're 10 times harder to clear off. I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. And fire breath is only going to click, like it's killing the real enemies, but it's not going to help with the rest of this stuff. So annoying. So we're going to lose our Shandy on a pretty regular basis here. All right, Lydia, thanks for hanging out. Oh my god, BBG means big bad evil guy. That's what, yeah. Now they actually named him. Yeah, Lurking Rider added it. They actually named him in the series, but that's what BBEG means. When it comes to Dungeons and Dragons and now lots of things, the BBEG means the big bad evil guy. Bartholomew, Beelzebub, Ezekiel Grubb, yeah, but it was a reference. It was always a reference to big bad evil guy. Big stretch. Hey, Bunny Beast, thanks for hanging out. Why can't you use your golden potion on Spurt 6 item? Because they've never created a golden item for that slot. They have to actually manually create a golden item and offer it into the game, like through some kind of thing, for you to be able to then turn that item golden. PlayStation, the inventory is the only way to open chests. Oof. And it's the better way for potions? Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm still shocked they released this on certain platforms, but they were trying to go wide with it. I get it, but they did not support it the same, and that's the problem. Is it in the glossary? Does it need to be? I don't know if it is or not. It's not a D&D. I mean, it's not an Idle Champions term. It's a D&D term, so. And his name in the game is just BBG. That's fine. There's a lot of items they'll deny making gold in. There's a lot, Nathalis. There's a lot of items in the game that have never had a golden for them. There's only like 2 slot 6s. One of them is, I think, one of them is Brivs. It brings this down to ultimate cooldown. It brings it down to 126 item levels. Not what I would call worth it. I think I got mine on my main account out of a wild offer or out of a pack. Some kind of pack. Brivs was the first because everybody complained. Like, why the hell did you make a GE for an ultimate cooldown item? Which was fair. Man. Yeah, we're slowing down because we're just not able to clear these before they touch the formation, so Shandy keeps getting shut off. I would need a multi-hit DPS. And I don't have one. Maybe we just swap these two. No, it's probably not going to be as high. Wait, did I pick bottom or top? Top, okay. I just don't have. The weird formation. Right. Historians just isn't doing his thing. With his ultimate. From the bottom. From the bottom. Aloth has a slot 6G? Wow. Yeah, I really don't care. Like, they're the slot 6Gs, they're just. There's very few champions that I would care about having one. Like Spurt would be the slot 6. There's also some champions whose slot 6 isn't ultimate cooldown, so they could have one, but yeah. Starting to convert my scales into legendaries. Okay, it's great to see what damage I get out of my absolute adversaries team. I'm pushing into the 1700s. Yeah, look, legendaries are the biggest source of power, biggest potential source of power in the game. Not just putting legendaries on, but then leveling them up. It's a big deal. That's what people ride to 2000. It's not item levels that gets them there. It's legendary levels. I mean, you need a solid base of item levels, but the legendary levels can carry you even if you don't have the item levels. Oh my god, we're going to run out of speed before the end. Oh no! That's okay. That's okay. Do we have yellows? We get to buy another gold chest. Yes, please. Yes, please. Hey, a large potion of speed. Worth it. Worth it. So we'll have another large potion for Monday when we do Orkira's. Wait, are we in Orkira's? We are. When we do Gale's, 450, which is great. We knock those out super fast. We may be done with event stuff on Monday, which means Tuesday we might be able to try a tier 3 for somebody. Might be able to. A lot of reputation. Well, it's favor. You need a lot of favor. You need a lot of favor to your favor level in a campaign dictates how many levels you can upgrade. And it's EO5 per level. So to get to go from level 1 legendary to level 2, you need to have a minimum of E10 favor in that campaign that the item is attached to. And if you drop below that while leveling things up, you can't add. And then to go to level 3 is E15 and 4 is E20, etc. So to get to level 20, you have to be at E100. So you have to have more than that to spin down to it. Yeah. I don't know, Shavik. Because they didn't look at your Makos and realize that it was maxed. They just threw in. Or maybe they got the bug that I got on my main, where I put Jarlaxle in, and instead it gave me Tyrell. I don't know. Maybe that's a new bug going around. Maybe it's an old bug that we're just running into. I don't know. Alchemy sounds like it's coming sooner than the Trials update. That's about all I could say. Sounds that way. Yeah, and only ever reforge once a week, folks. Once a week. Let that price come back down to 1,000, then reforge. If your price is in the multiple thousands, you need to wait a long time and let it come back to 1,000 and be affordable again. Because you should only reforge once a week. Iloth Briv, Dungeon Master, Kroll, Minsk. Minsk really dritzed in Myriad. Interesting. I don't understand why. I don't understand why. I'm just gonna stop there. I'm just gonna stop there. Yeah, I feel like it's people who don't look at the numbers and they're just used to throwing in the champions that they always throw in. And maybe they don't understand that there's a max. Or they're not looking at the number. Yeah. Oh, is that their sixes? See, I don't know. Again, I think I feel like the only champions that should have had slot sixes are people that don't. It isn't alt cooldown. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. But the game doesn't have a chat option for a very good reason. So. It used to have a chat option, and it was ugly at times. But it only has to be ugly at times to make it something that never should have existed. That's this button over here on the right that says join the Idle Champions Discord. That used to be the chat. That used to be in-game chat. It opened up an in-game chat. Unmoderated, unreportable, and thus unusable and unthinkable. Like, what were they thinking? Four minutes of speed left. We got close to 450. So this was a good usage of it. We definitely got the efficiency out of that full potion. You don't need you don't need an option. You don't need chat. You do not need chat in this game. No. No, you don't. Again, the trials rework coming. They've already talked about how, well, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But one of the things that Justin has commented on is that the assault party would go away, in which case there goes any need you might even want to chat with someone else in trials. And even then, that's only the pre-trials lobby, right? But yeah, that would take all that away. But you don't want unmoderated chat in a game or in a community, period, ever. Not even under moderated, unmoderated, not moderated at all. That was what it was. There was no moderation. They had no ability to ban people or punish people like from chat, like keep people from chatting. They built none of that in. If you can't build any of that into your chat system, game devs, you shouldn't be building a chat system. Spend your time on something else. Spend your time on something else. No. You can make game systems. You can make multiplayer game systems that don't need chat. You can. You absolutely can. So use your brain. Figure out how to do that instead of putting an unmoderated, unreportable, unaccountable chat system in your game. It's not about being bored, Nathless. It's just about some people just want to complain and they will hunt down someone to complain. Absolutely will. Like I've been a community manager for years and years and years, worked in community management for years and years and years and years. People will go out of their way to complain, and they will hunt down people to complain too. If they can match it, they will do it. Welcome to the internet. Yeah. People will find any excuse to blame someone else for their problems also. So subject made everyone join chat. Yeah, everybody knows. Everybody knows. Everyone here knows. Everyone in here knows. No. No. Oh no, everybody's chill. There's sometimes when you have to sit forward, type into the computer, and speak up, and it's no, we don't want chat. No, this is bad. Yeah. I mean, anyone that's ever played League of Legends knows chat is a horrible thing. Just turn it off. Just turn it off. Yeah, like I mean, I wouldn't stream if I didn't have a bot that would smack people for saying bad things. I also would never have opened a Discord server if I didn't have a bot that would smack people. Like, there's no way. Miri hasn't given the bunny tank of guards because Miri only gives champions bodyguards. It's just a thing. That's it. That's all she'll bodyguard is other champions. Now we're fine. We got 22 minutes. We can crawl 16 levels. God, it slowed down so much. Yeah, global channels in MMOs are also rough. Yeah. Yep. When I played War, I just had guild chat up or party chat. If I was in a party, I had party chat up. If I had or a war band, if otherwise guild chat was up, even if nobody was on, and I only went into like region. I would only go into region chat if we were doing RVR, like realm versus realm combat, so I could see what people were saying. But global, I only went into global if somebody messaged me and said, "Hey, there's somebody pretending to be you in chat," because that was a thing. People would pretend to be me and act like a jerk in chat to try to make me look bad to new players, and and it was hilarious, and it was hilarious because I would I would invariably I wouldn't even be on my main. I'd be on like one of the like I had a Knight of the Blazing Sun that was like all my dwarves were named Garwar one way or the other. And so I would be on like my Knight of the Blazing Sun who had a whole different name. And then I'd get into global and I'd start talking to this person and like questioning them and just like, you know, I wouldn't say who I was. I would just basically out them as not being me by questioning them, asking them questions about stuff, and basically show to everybody that's not Garwar. That's not Garwar. But that's how far people will go just to mess with someone. It's not like I'd made anybody mad. They just didn't like me because I made guides for the game and thus I was popular and the devs liked me and they it didn't like that. I guess I don't know. There's people like that here too, but I haven't seen anybody pretend to be me yet. Yes, my game is slowed to a crawl. Oh god. So it's not just about you though, Nathalis. It's not about words affect you. It has nothing to do with like I mean it is, but it isn't. It's about, you know, creating places where people can actually not be harassed and you may have a different tolerance to that, but it doesn't mean everybody does and it doesn't mean everybody should either. Words are power. And some people use that power the wrong way. I've been playing LoL for 10 years, and the last 4 years I never turned the chat on because if I do, I won't want to play anymore. Yeah. Riot started off with the wrong mentality, and they've never been able to come back from it. I don't even know if they care anymore. I would argue they don't, but I honestly haven't interacted with League of Legends. Wow. It's been a long time now. Yeah. When they showed me that they really didn't care about their community, I stopped caring about their games. No. Orkira is Orkira is the most optimal target for the healing pigment, because not only will it make her heal better, but her heal boosts her debuff, so that healing pigment is actually giving you healing and a bigger debuff at the same time. So she is the number one most optimal place to put a healing pigment currently. Currently. All right, Anvil, thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm gonna watch Formula One later. Hopefully recorded. I knew it. I told you yesterday. They were just not going to record free practice one, and I was right. They didn't, but they did record. It did record, or they did broadcast qualifying for the sprint, which was a little wild because it rained. Oh, that made things exciting. So I'm looking forward. I think the sprint shootout is today, and I think qualifying for tomorrow's race is also today. So hopefully both of those broadcast today, because I want to watch those. I want to watch both of those things. F1 where? Formula One is in China this week, I believe. Yeah, it is. It is because it's Zhou Guan Yu's like home race, and that was a big deal because he made it into the top 10 for the sprint race, and the crowd literally went wild. It was so loud you could hear it through the announcers' mics, which means it was real loud. So good for him. Good for him. I like it when people do well when they're in their home races. And for Zhou, that's top 10 in the qualifying is doing well. Edited and resubmitted. Some chat systems have, like, if you control. I wonder if this one in. No, Twitch doesn't do this. Oops, that's the wrong button. Used to have like some chat systems will build in a control up arrow or a control shift up or something where it then reloads the last comment you put in, and then you can edit it if you want. But yeah. The thing about that is that then people will try to test over and over again. Well, how far can I push this without getting moderated? But there are positive use case scenarios for it, right? But then when you start thinking about the negative use case scenarios, it's jerks ruin things for everybody else. Is ultimately what happens. Mean people ruin. This is why we can't have nice things. Mean people ruin things for everybody else. There are people that previous employers, like our groups of moderators, we refer to as edgelords. People that will do everything, including get themselves suspended over and over again, to try to figure out where the line is that they can walk the edge, and then they walk it. And once they learn it, they walk it forever. And basically they will bait other people because they'll know just how far they can go, and someone else won't, and someone else will cross the line, and then they get that person suspended, and then they laugh about it. Like, that's a whole group of people. The larger your community is, the more of these people are going to be in your community, but there's a percentage of your community that are edgelords like that, and it's a whole thing.